I am Ray, and the less you are, the more you'll enjoy life. Have you ever noticed that the best times of your life always happen when you're not there? No, I'm not trying to be mean. Let me explain. You see, what you'll find with people who really hate their life, or who struggle with depression, and well, life just generally sucks. It's all rooted in the same one thing. It's their relationship to themselves. If you don't like yourself, you're not going to like life, and you're going to be depressed. And if you love yourself, you're going to love life, no matter what happens. But what happens is that the less of a self there is, meaning you're not attached to your identities, the more you will be rooted in the present moment, which is a state of no mind. And, well, the mind creates the sense of individual self-identity. And in this state, you will love life, and you will realize that you are life. And that the whole time, it was your mind, it was your identity, separating you from everything you've been looking for. All the love, all the joy, all the peace, the freedom and relief. You see, when the identity is a problem, it's like our system gets sent into fight or flight and channels all of our resources into focusing on that problem. So we're made hyper aware of all the ways we're not good enough, of all the ways we, suck. And when we love ourselves, and when we have a positive relationship with ourselves, our body says, oh, there's nothing to worry about it. Stop focusing on it. And we're more focused on giving to others. Just giving our life, giving our energy to the world. I mean, think about it. If you've ever felt really happy and loving and joyful, you naturally want to give. You naturally want to share that joy with others. Because where there is no self, there is selflessness. Get it? But I want you to think about the mind, or you could say the ego, or even the ego mind. It's like a big dark cloud that blocks out the light and the warmth of the sun. And when there is no heat and warmth and light, there is darkness and cold and death. Same thing, there is an eternal inner sun within you that radiates joy, love, and peace. That is your true nature. But we believe ourselves to be the ego, to be the mind. And that separates us from our natural, wonderful radiance. So the more you're attached to your mind stuff, the more you're going to suffer, the more you're going to live in depression. Not good. It's as Jim Carrey said, depression is your body saying, screw you, because it's tired of playing this character. It needs deep rest from this character you've been trying to play. At the end of it all, the root of all of our problems is identity. If your identity has become maladapted or toxic or negative, it's going to hemorrhage your energy and you're going to lose it. And because energy is life, where life is not, death is. And, well, what do you think depression is? It's like being consumed by a black hole. Darkness, death. It's the only reason. We gather conditioning in our minds, and because our mind is a pointed tool, it becomes imbalanced. So you get traumatized, the negative memory stays with you, and it causes you to focus your mind in, ways that are not helpful. It causes you to overthink and ruminate about things that don't serve you. It's not really you that's doing it, it's the memory. But what happens is that when you return to balance, your problems start going away. Because it was the imbalance that was creating the problems. So, you want to understand what it is about you that is creating the imbalance and ruining your life. And you see, the reason by being in the present moment solves a lot of your problems is because when you're in a state of no mind, you're in a flow state, so you allow the flow of life to effortlessly go through you. You become one with life, and life itself is the source of harmony, of balance, of everything. So the more we're separated from this, the more we suffer. Life can only be experienced in the present moment. So the more often you're separated from the present moment, getting pulled into your mind and thoughts, the less you're truly living, and the more you suffer. But you might ask, well, how do we get in the present moment if we're suffering all the time, if we're depressed, if we're miserable? My way of looking at it is that, we deal with the ego while also striving toward You could say just being. When you just be, you become one with life. You already are, but we're trapped in the mind, ego prison. Because it is true, it is very difficult to be satisfied and content and to enjoy life when your ego is not happy, when there's problems. It's like your whole system gets hijacked and you're forced to focus on all of this negative garbage. So sometimes we have to take the time to heal ourselves, and then it becomes easier just to rest in the present moment. Just be in that state of no mind, that flow state in which you are at your best, and at the same time you are not. I know it can be confusing sometimes. It's okay, there. You see, life isn't so much a game of adding more, it's often a game of removing. We have all of this conditioning holding us down, keeping us stuck. And what will happen is that life will present to us the exact opportunities required to burn off that conditioning. And sometimes it's not fun, because we don't like having parts of ourselves burned off. It's not very nice. And yet it is necessary. Because the more of your conditioning you can burn off, the more free you will become. That's the whole game. It's like we incarnate into these bodies to work out our karma, our life lessons, so we can become free from it through these experiences that we go through. And the more free we become, the more light we become, literally, both floating up and light, like that light. And the more we experience love, peace, joy, abundance, you return to God, to Source. It's like the whole point of the religions. Yay, go to heaven. Congratulations, you've won. Well, how do you win? You got to get rid of the conditioning. Even Christ said, unless you come to me as little children, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. Because one must be pure in mind and pure in heart. And we can't do that if we got all this conditioning, all this mess. You return to the unconditioned pure state. That's all it is. So what you will find during your life, if you pay attention, if you make becoming free a priority in your life, if you actually search for the source of love that is you, you will be able to reframe your experiences, in which your mind will automatically point toward where you are attached. Because if you understand that life is only reflecting back to you the exact situations that you need, then you are open to receive the lessons, the teachings, the information. But if you get caught personally, well, you're just going to suffer miserably. And you can do that forever. Don't do it. Once you realize that life is always taking care of you, that life takes care of life, you begin to trust and have faith a little bit more and more and more. And you realize that the trials and the tribulations and the problems, they are designed to burn off that conditioning. These situations will come up for you to let go of the parts of you that no longer serve you. And you'll feel a little bit more relief every time. So here's how you can look at things moving forward. We are all connected to God's source through this little umbilical cord right here. And the mind, which is this dot, is the gateway, is the portal between the inner world and the outer world. Through our experiences in the outer world, we gather conditioning. Our ego, our mind, is like a metal ball. You like balls? Which attracts all of these other metal objects, which is all of our mind stuff. It's our thoughts, our beliefs, our identities, our stories about our identity, of who we believe we are, personality traits, things like that. And this gives us the sense of separate self. But at the same time, what happens, the more mind stuff we got going on, the more it constricts the flow of life and makes you contracted. And at the very end of that contraction is all the evil people, all the serial killers and stuff like that. That's all it is. What do you think narcissism is? It's just a heightened sense of self. Me, 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 me. And what happens, the more me, the more life is constricted. Well, where life is not, death is. Like when you turn a light off, darkness is what remains. That is all. So, people who have their life energy constricted become vessels for death. Hey, just explained all depression, all suicide, all tragedies that people do, bad things. This is why. All it is a contraction of life energy. A bigger and bigger, darker cloud. Until there's no light left. Until there's no life left. And without life, you cannot live. So you die. Sorry. But once you kind of call out to life, call out to God, and ask, hey, help me, for God's sake, your mindset will begin shifting, ideally. And you will begin seeing that your experiences are reflections of your karma. Now, all that karma is, it's that information stored within you. It's just information. And that information causes you to act, think, feel, identify. It's what causes you to manifest in this particular form. And all of these different elements that come together to create your specific experience of life. So your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of what is within. What does that remind you of? And so when you begin realizing this, you can stop taking things so personally and start allowing some of that conditioning to be washed away. Because you will repeat the same lessons over and over again until this happens. So you can't escape it. And even if you end your life, you're going to have to face it again. Because the information doesn't leave you. You can't escape it. There's nothing you can do except to get rid of it through your experiences. You don't want to have to go through a whole nother birth just to experience the same garbage. So you begin allowing life experiences. Whenever you get triggered, whenever you feel lots of suffering, first of all, you ground yourself in the realization that, okay, this is the fire burning away the parts of me that don't serve me. The parts of me or this identity that is separating me from life, from God. And well, what is separation from God? It's hell. So if you're in hell, it's only because we've been separated from life because of our trauma, because of our conditioning, because of our attachments, which will pull us out of the present moment perpetually and keep us stuck in our mind space. And then what happens moving forward? We continuously surrender, which means stop trying to control every aspect of your life. Because you, as the ego, as the mind, are a very limited state of consciousness. Just let life take over. Because the less there is of you, the more there is of God. And the more there is of you, the less there is of God. Meaning that the more you surrender, the more you become one with God. And everything that you desire in this life happens effortlessly. Because God doesn't have any limitations. But the ego, the mind, has a lot of limitations. This body has a lot of limitations. So why would you live your life from this limited state of consciousness when you could live as the whole universe itself? You could live as life, as God. But the price for most people, it's too high. Because you have to give up your sense of self, your individuality. And funny enough, the more you surrender it, the more you actually become you. This mind here, this ego, it was never you. It was just pretend. And because we got attached to it, we don't want to let it go. We think that something bad's going to happen. Well, something bad is going to happen for the ego. It dies. But it was an illusion the whole time, so yeah, sorry. And the more you learn how to surrender, the more you reconnect with the source of love, peace, joy, and abundance. All that you desire is already yours. In fact, it's already actively seeking you. Why is this? Because God wants you, as the mind, as the ego, to return to God. Because God loves you. And God doesn't want to see you suffer. But guess what? It takes humility. That is why pride is the cardinal sin. Because if you are prideful, which means that you have a strong sense of self, you will not surrender. You will want to continue controlling your life and doing whatever you want for whatever reason until you experience enough suffering and realize, oh, well, it doesn't really work. And life will beat the ego down more and more and more until it experiences so much suffering that it just gives up. It's like, well, life is kind of cruel in this way. You will either kneel out of humility or you will kneel out of pride. Either way, we kneel. Because trying to resist life or trying to control everything, it's kind of like standing underneath a waterfall. How long are you going to last? You're going to last a day, 2 days, 3 days? You might last like 20 minutes because the pressure of life is just continuously pushing you down. That's what it's like to live in resistance to life. It's an uphill battle. It's swimming upstream. And you see people do this all the time. Can never catch a break. Life is miserable But when you go with the flow, which is a surrender, you become one with the river. You become one with the flow of life. You're not resisting life anymore. You're not struggling anymore. And life begins to effortlessly unfold in your favor, no matter what happens. I am Ray, and if you're tired of your negative thoughts ruining your life, making you depressed, separating you from source, check out Monster Mind Mastery. Link is below. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, just be.